So if you have that gene mutation, this is a simple inability to convert folic acid into the usable form called methylfolate. How many of you have heard of folic acid? Okay, how many of you know that folic acid is an entirely man-made chemical? We make folic acid in a laboratory. You can't find folic acid anywhere on the surface of the earth. It doesn't occur anywhere naturally in nature. It's made by a chemical company called Monsanto. So now, in 1993, the US federal government signed a deal with them and said, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take folic acid and we're going to spray our entire grain supply with it. We're going to spray all white flour, all white rice, all white bread, all white pasta, and every grain made in America, we're going to spray it with the chemical folic acid. And that's what we call fortified or enriched. We don't use the term sprayed with folic acid, we use the term fortified or enriched because fortified or enriched sounds a lot better. Well, 44% of the population cannot process that nutrient, right? And so what happens when you put high doses of folic acid from normal foods or from supplementation into a body that cannot process it? The first thing that happens is it gets agitated and they go nuts. So it spikes the activity in the brain. The brain starts to create thought at a rate that is faster than it can dismantle thought. We call this attention deficit disorder. Right? How many of you either have or know someone who has ADHD? Okay, the true people that have ADHD are not even paying attention. So you guys, they're on their phones, so they didn't hear what they just popped up and they were like, what do you say? ADHD, and they're asking the person next to them. That's how I know you have ADHD. So attention deficit disorder is not an attention deficit at all. It's an attention overload disorder. Right? People that have ADD or ADHD do not lack the ability to pay attention. They lack the ability to pay attention to so many things. We have to remember that the human brain doesn't just create thought, it also dismantles thought. It is just as important for you to be able to create a thought as it is for you to be able to dismantle thought. This is why you're not always in the same mood, right? So what happens when we create thought at a faster rate than we dismantle it? The brain gets crowded. And we call this attention deficit disorder. Modern medicine says, well, because the mind is racing, let's put an amphetamine into the body to race the central nervous system to match the pace of the mind. That is a horrible solution. When you could put simple amino acids, L-methionine, methylated folate, into the human body and give the brain the raw material it needs to just degrade thought, and mood returns to normal. People that have that MTHFR gene mutation have a very, very high incidence of anxiety. Again, how many of you either suffer from or know someone who suffers from anxiety? Yes, almost half the room. 44% of Americans, by the way, have either been on or are currently on an antidepressant.